Hi, thanks for joining us and welcome to our webinar, Aura 6 to Cloud. During today's webinar, we will be covering 3 key topic areas: looking to migrate to the cloud, ensuring best practice in system management, and creating a baseline for the development of omni-channel customer experience. A couple of things I'd like to mention. You've been automatically muted. If you have any questions, please use the question box provided and we will answer all questions once Paul has finished. I will now hand over to Paul Brassington, Sabio's Principal Solutions Manager.
Thanks, Catherine, and welcome everyone to today's webinar. Today, I'll be taking you through a dilemma facing a number of Avaya customers this year, and an approach that Sabio has developed to help these businesses deal with this challenge. We'll also take a look at some long-standing challenges that you may face, and again, how Sabio's approach may well work for you. Firstly, however, I just wanted to shine a light on a date that is coming up and its significance. So on the 9th of July this year, Avaya Aura 6 reaches its end of manufacturer support. This is significant because after this date, Avaya will no longer release any new features, fix any bugs, release any security updates or vulnerability patches, or accept orders on either additions or expansions for their existing products that reside within the Avaya Aura 6 suite of products. Therefore, as we progress through this session, I just want you to bear this date in mind, along with the potential implications if you're currently an Avaya Aura 6 customer. I'll now share with you one approach that Sabio has developed in the shape of our contact center as a service platform, and how a pathway to the cloud could possibly help free you from the technology and allow you to better focus and support your business aspirations. Firstly though, why is Sabio different? Well, we want your customers to have a brilliant experience when they contact you. It's the heart of everything we do and what we believe in. To support this, we've been delivering and continually improving our contact center as a service as a platform over a good number of years now, in order to take away much of the pain that businesses face with the day-to-day management of technology, and instead allow them to focus much more on their customer experience strategy. Sabio has, over the course of the past few years, been on a journey of our own, bringing to market what we fully believe to be a unique proposition. Our platform is feature-rich, both mobile and digital ready, and inherently comprises of embedded assurance, testing and monitoring capabilities. And we're going to spend some time looking in detail at these today during the webinar. We have listened to both you and to the market, and through our contact center as a service platform, we truly believe that we can help our customers in delivering brilliant customer experiences. So firstly, let's take a look at a number of challenges that you may be faced with today. Regardless of the shape, size or complexity of your operation, we have captured a number of common themes that we've come across whilst working with our customers and looking at the market as a whole. So the first challenge we came across was that most contact center environments are based on a traditional on-premise platform with a fixed CapEx budget assigned for project and upgrade work. This can make lifestyle and sustainability commitments difficult to manage, as the costs are typically unpredictable. So if you think along a 3 to 5 year time frame, for example, businesses often find it a challenge to set aside an appropriate annual budget, often because vendor product release cycles are sometimes difficult to predict, and in particular, the size and scale of each upgrade, and therefore what likely cost to the business is going to be. The risks to the business, however, quite significant, both in terms of ongoing manufacturer support, replacement parts, security patches, not to mention access to additions and expansions to support business growth. This is a topic that we've often been asked about by our customers in respect of trying to help them in identifying potential risk mitigation strategies. The second challenge that you may feel is relevant to yourselves is that you might be spending more time running and operating a platform. This is opposed to investing time in pursuits and goals such as new projects, strategy and vision, as well as innovation workshops, and ultimately customer experience improvement. The third area has particular relevance and focus this year. This is, of course, more stringent compliance and regulatory requirements relating to the likes of MiFID II, GDPR, and PCI, for example. Having a legacy platform makes these challenges even more difficult to manage and stay on top of, as they may not offer the agility and flexibility required to address these quickly and efficiently enough for either your business or, probably of more note, industry regulators. The fourth challenge is that you might have a desire to simplify your architecture, such as reduce your hardware footprint or potentially virtualize the estate. This could be in order to either reduce or remove internal and possibly third-party operational costs. However, you may feel constrained or limited in such endeavours by your existing investment and footprint. The last challenge that you may be facing is the release age of your software, such as Avaya Aura 6, which, as I've already mentioned, is rapidly approaching end of life in July this year. At this time, not only does the platform fall outside of manufacturer support and the ability to add additions or expand the solution stack cease, but also no further functionality additions, bug fixes, and probably of most notable importance, security or vulnerability patches are released. Also, a project to perform an upgrade to Avaya Aura 7 would likely represent a significant CapEx investment, and that investment might be equally consume funds that could otherwise have better been spent in business transformation and innovation service initiatives. So having identified the challenges like these that businesses are facing today, and having been asked directly by our customers to provide a strategy or solution aimed at addressing these type of business problems, a few years ago now, Sabio launched our contact center as a service platform. We have now further enhanced this proposition by providing a supporting pathway to the cloud strategy for businesses. And I would now like to spend a little bit of time talking in a bit more detail about what this pathway to the cloud looks like. So let's look at an example scenario. Let's look at a business who are currently sitting on the Avaya Aura 6 platform today and considering just simply upgrading to Avaya Aura 7. That, as we've already reflected on in itself, would be a relatively large investment, consuming CapEx budget, and potentially a destructive piece of work to do in isolation. It probably also require careful business continuity planning and management as part of the process. It would also ultimately likely result in the same level of functionality just existing, only being accompanied by the restoration of manufacturer support. It wouldn't, for instance, reshape how your business operated, provide a maintained baseline for the next 5 years and beyond, or enable the agile adoption of new digital innovation capabilities. It would, in all likelihood, also represent a piece of work that you potentially need to wholly repeat in a few years' time. And all of this comes back to one of the core objectives behind the Sabio Contact Center as a Service platform, which, thanks to its modular extensibility, enables continual innovation, and in doing so, supports the customer experience should be brilliant strategy that here at Sabio we so firmly believe in. So as an alternative to the approach just described, and just a restoration of manufacturer support, Sabio are offering organisations the opportunity to take advantage of the Sabio cloud pathway and migrate to Sabio's contact center as a service platform. In adopting this approach, Sabio will migrate and transform a business's existing environment to the Sabio CaaS cloud platform. This includes upgrading them to Avaya Aura 6, from Avaya Aura 6 to Avaya Aura 7 as part of the process. So that's included. So as part of the Sabio CaaS offer, a full technical managed service is included as standard. There is no longer a need for businesses to perform tier 1 triage support, or indeed any daily housekeeping or system management activities. We also deliver a standard class-leading service level and availability commitments as part of our service. Lifecycle management, including annual upgrades, are included as part of the OPEX cost profile and are therefore pre-budgeted for as part of the service. What this means for a business is that an upgrade from Avaya Aura 7 to Avaya Aura 8, for instance, is included as part of the service and will be sequenced in line with business requirements. And just to reiterate, moving from Avaya Aura 6 to 7 is included as standard as part of the initial transition to the Sabio CaaS platform. The platform also comes preloaded with a number of assurance and performance monitoring capabilities that represent both an inherent and unique part of the service proposition from Sabio. All of these complementary services are delivered as standard as part of the Sabio service, and are designed to increase business value add safeguards for the likes of 24/7 monitoring, as well as alerting and protection against any service, performance or quality degradation. I'll come on to these in a little more detail on the next slide. Also, one really key bit about the Sabio CAS proposition is that it can be hosted either by Sabio in our data centers or by an organization in their own data center. Furthermore, regardless of which option a business chooses, the comprehensive service model just described, and which I'll describe in a little bit more detail shortly, along with all of the business value add extras, are provisioned as standard, making each approach identical from a service delivery perspective. So, in respect of the business value add extras provided as standard as part of the service, businesses have access to a number of unique Sabio components that have been developed in-house by the Sabio teams, specifically to support and enhance the Avaya suite of applications, products and solutions. So first up, we have Sabio MAS, Monitoring as a Service. Sabio MAS is an automated end-to-end 24/7 enterprise monitoring solution. It delivers proactive notifications in order to allow likewise proactive intervention by the Sabio Technical Services support team, thereby reducing the time taken to resolve any issues that may arise. MAS really helps us remove latency from the initial identification of a service issue right through to the time when the issue is finally resolved, typically in excess of 70% in many scenarios, but more importantly, often before businesses experience any service impact. So, for example, consider a common scenario in which a user experiences a problem, contacts the IT support team, and the latency that invariably occurs between when the issue initially rose and was reported through to the investigation analysis work that is subsequently undertaken and its final resolution. What Sabio MAS allows Sabio to do is proactively alert and enable rapid resolution of these issues, in some cases before a single user has even become aware that an issue exists. Next, we have voice quality monitoring as a service, again provided as standard. And this allows us to continually monitor call quality to end users. This again allows us to investigate and resolve any call quality degradation issues proactively, once again significantly reducing both latency and time to resolution. Another service that we include as standard is performance testing. Now, performance testing basically enables us to achieve a number of different objectives. For instance, through performance testing, we can assess peak system performance, for example, leading up to a Black Friday event for a retail organization, in order to provide that organization with a peace of mind ahead of the event occurring, that the system's going to manage the volume appropriately. We can also leverage performance testing to do disaster recovery testing and help businesses define business continuity and failover plans based on actual outcomes. Another area where we can leverage performance testing, again purely as an example, is in the theoretical undertaking of impact testing both pre and post plan changes, as well as for benchmarking purposes. Now, we also include Sabio Rapport. Sabio Rapport is a call analytics package aimed at enabling operations to identify potential focal areas for business operational improvement opportunities. One such example may be repeat callers, for instance, identifying when and why they're occurring, possibly at specific times or in response to specific events. It can also highlight when volumes of calls are occurring, along with the level of calls typically received and possibly missed during non-operational hours, probably being of most particular interest to a business. Maybe if a large number of calls are occurring shortly after the contact centre is closed. This may in turn lead to a step change within an organisation and possibly might wish to adjust their business hours very slightly in order to align with when customers want to contact them the most. Sabio Rapport can also help businesses in understanding the cost to serve and what the customer sentiment is. So if customers are repeatedly calling in and often being subjected to call transfers, we can help businesses start to better understand what their customers' customer journeys really look like and what impact this is having potentially on customer sentiment as a result. So in summary, Sabio Rapport can arm organisations with the information that they need to better understand and assess what the experience is for their end customers when they try to do business with an organisation. And that again is included as standard within the Sabio contact center as a service offer. The other focus area, which has really come from customer demand, from us listening to some of our customers and understanding some of the challenges that they commonly face, is recording assurance as a service, or RAS. So once again, recording assurance as a service is a Sabio developed product, and it was really built to address compliance requirements. Put simply, recording assurance as a service checks the accuracy and completeness of every single call that should have been recorded with it by the operation, in order to verify that each call has been recorded correctly. It is worth reflecting on the fact that call recording is in essence a passive service, where neither the agent nor the customer really knows whether the recording of their call has been completely successfully completed. And what recording assurance as a service will do is alert and pinpoint to the appropriate teams any single call recording failure that it identifies. And the business of that, and the benefit of that to a MiFID II or FCA regulated organisation is that the business can openly work with regulators in a more transparent and informed manner. So in a nutshell, that's what RAS can offer to an organisation. And again, it's included as standard within the Sabio contact center as a service offering. So to summarise, what Sabio are able to provide is not only the core platform, both delivered, managed and maintained with manufacturer support, but also seek to deliver peace of mind assurances so that businesses don't have to worry about the underlying tin or application upon which their operations depend so heavily anymore. The assurance capabilities delivered as standard with the Sabio contact center as a service platform are already helping organisations meet their regulatory and compliance requirements. This again is allowing them to focus time and effort on what is required to deliver better customer experiences, whether they be via the traditional voice channel or through newer digital channels, or indeed both. So I guess I now just wanted to quickly cover off a few areas that we often get asked questions about in relation to the service. Firstly, I do really want to make it clear that the Sabio platform, when hosted in Sabio data centers, is not a multi-tenanted solution. It's a dedicated platform instance for every customer. So each customer is assigned dedicated and scalable hosting resources with both separation of data and maintenance and upgrade window preference and isolation. The Sabio contact center as a service solution stack is also fully virtualized and based on a best practice reference architecture, which not only provides a proven and reliable environment for your customers, but it also enables us to monitor and benchmark performance across every single customer instance so we know what good looks like. And if we know what good looks like, it means we can do something and spot where attention is required if something untoward occurs. It allows us to proactively investigate in order to ensure that all of our customers receive optimal performance from the service. It also means that we can, if we identify an issue in one customer instance, maybe as a result of a specific sequence of events, we can proactively seek to fix the issue in every other customer instance, mainly thanks to the fact that we use a common, consistent and standardized reference architecture. The other area that I wanted to cover, which is a slide really that we're looking at right now, is really the evolution from the traditional support side of the service model. So what I'm referring to here is that most businesses with an existing on-premise environment, the support service for those customers is typically a standard break-fix maintenance contract. What Sabio are offering businesses now is the opportunity to transform from a maintenance service to a proactive and predictive managed service. So that's a real key focus of what we're offering as well. So for example, the capacity of all the system elements are tracked. So that includes the underlying hardware resources, the virtual estate, the applications, the component integrations, and even operational level utilization statistics. This enables us to proactively monitor environments, to both provide trend analysis information and also alert businesses in respect of when potential capacity breaches may occur. We continually track manufacturer bulletins and software patch releases and proactively apply application updates and security vulnerability patches as and when required, which again is all part of the service. So there's no need to worry about that side of things. And as I've mentioned previously, lifecycle management is also included. So as you initially transition to the Sabio offer, you go straight from Avaya Aura 6, if that's where you currently are, to Avaya Aura 7. Then whilst you're using the solution, you also get a midterm upgrade included in order to migrate you to Avaya Aura 8, as and when you're ready to do so. This really is your baseline for your managed, maintained and assured platform going forward. Once again, allowing businesses to focus funds and rechannel efforts towards strategic customer service, experience management and competitive differentiation initiatives. So the question really is, where do you want to go tomorrow, and how do you want to take your customer experience to the next level? So once you have migrated to the Sabio Contact Center as a Service platform, the ability to innovate and adopt new technologies or services becomes easier. In order to further support businesses here, Sabio has developed and continue to develop a range of modular snap-in features for the Sabio Contact Center as a Service platform, making it a truly modular and extensible offering, and enabling it to grow and support businesses on their journey to delivering brilliant customer experiences. Transactional-based voice IVR self-service is just one example of this, which is able to deliver advanced IVR functionality without requiring the traditional large upfront CapEx investment. So once a user of the Sabio Contact Center as a Service platform, a business has the ability to quickly consume such capabilities and services, which we can also offer on a trial basis with a view to proving potential service improvements along with an associated ROI. Another example involves unlocking digital as a channel. So here we can provide the ability for advisors and end customers to share information such as documents, websites, photos, whatever it might be, using the Sabio Super Channel service. In this scenario, the advisor would initiate a session by simply offering the customer a hyperlink in order to start a web browser session on the customer's smart device. Once established, either party can share information and data, such as proof of identification, photos, web content, or even a GPS location during the session. An example scenario here could be for a car insurance provider. The customer could immediately share photos of the incident for insurance purposes, along with third-party driver documentation, as well as a GPS location for vehicle recovery or emergency services. This example illustrates how a single, fast and efficient customer-advisor interaction can potentially both deliver an exceptional level of customer service, but not only that, also at the same time vastly reduce operational costs and overheads that a business typically incurs during a transaction of this nature, where multiple interactions and communication channels are leveraged to handle this type of customer engagement. So again, once you have migrated to the Sabio Contact Center as a Service platform, testing, trialing, proving and adopting new capabilities and features, all designed to improve customer experiences and create efficiencies within the business through the use of targeted technology-based services and solutions, becomes much quicker and much easier. And that's really the agility that this platform is able to offer to businesses. So really, I just wanted to close by coming back to the initial 5 challenges that we mentioned earlier and summarize how we believe that Sabio Contact Center as a Service can help businesses in seeking to address these challenges. So firstly, we looked at CapEx to OpEx. Sabio Contact Center as a Service as a platform addresses this challenge from the outset by enabling you to move all of your upgrades over a 5 or 3 year fixed term and fix them into a simple OpEx budgeting model. Again, this includes the initial upgrade from Avaya Aura 6, if that's where you are today, to Avaya Aura 7 as part of the migration to the platform. Next up was strategy and innovation. So again, when you move to the Sabio Contact Center as a Service platform, all of the day-to-day management, housekeeping and system maintenance tasks are taken care of, leaving you to really focus on your core business aspirations. From a compliance and regulation point of view, the Sabio Contact Center as a Service platform addresses PCI, GDPR, and other regulatory requirements such as MiFID II through a combination of our own innovative products such as call recording assurance as a service, as well as partnering with market-leading and best-of-breed solution providers such as Semaphone. Through the initial migration process, we also virtualize your existing technology stack, either within our own data centers or yours. It's your choice. We thereby remove any legacy hardware and gateways and consolidate the core applications into a simplified, modern, virtualized solution typically comprising of a greatly reduced hardware footprint. And what's more, we can leverage your existing investment in Avaya, Verint, or any other vendors who we work with by migrating your licenses to our contact center services or platform. Furthermore, at the end of the contract, you retain full ownership of these licenses. They remain in your name permanently, and if you wish, you can passport them to a different solution. And lastly, and just to repeat, the aging software challenge is addressed as part of the initial migration to the Sabio Contact Center as a Service platform, as well as throughout the term of the contract, thanks to the inherent inclusion of the initial upgrade from Avaya Aura 6 to Avaya Aura 7, and the software lifecycle release management element that is again provided as standard included within the OPEX pricing model. Again, meaning there's no requirement for you to budget for large or unexpected CapEx upgrade projects or pieces of work in the future. So that was a summary there, really, and that was all from me. Thanks for listening, and I'm just going to hand you back to Catherine now to wrap up and maybe share any questions raised during this session, which obviously we're happy to try and answer for you now.
Thanks, Paul. That was great. We have had a couple of questions come through. One, you mentioned reference architecture. Could you explain what you mean?
Yes, absolutely. Good question. So when we talk about reference architecture, we're talking about two different things, really. Two component parts to that is the answer to that question. First of all, we've been working with Avaya for a great number of years now, as well as Verint and the other manufacturers that kind of form part of the Sabio Contact Center as a Service platform. And through those relationships and that experience and that engagement, you know, we've become familiar with the stipulations and the requirements and the best practice that those manufacturers recommend. So absolutely, we're completely compliant with all of that. But also through our own experiences, and you know, it's worth reiterating, Sabio have been working in contact centers pretty much as a kind of a focal point for us for the last 20 years now. So over that time, again, we've established our own best practice and what we've seen out in the industry. And what that's really allowed us to do is to create a kind of common stack that we have a huge amount of confidence in, both from a Sabio perspective, a vendor and a customer. And by having a common stack, it allows us to kind of roll that stack out to other customers and for them to kind of share that confidence and that reliability that we've kind of proven over a good number of years now.
Okay, thanks. We've got another question here. Can you clarify that the upgrade to Aura 7 is included in the model, and how does this work?
Yes, absolutely. So it is included. So Avaya Aura 7 is the kind of current release. So the plan is when we onboard a customer, that upgrade from, if they're on Aura 6 at the moment, then we upgrade them to Aura 7. And we do that by building a kind of parallel virtualized state, and that's either within their environment or within our environment. So the kind of risk to the business is obviously minimal. So that's kind of a strategy that we've kind of used with our current contact center as a platform customers, and it's worked quite well. It's allowed them to kind of carry on operating as normal, business as normal, while we kind of build a platform in parallel on latest software and deliver, you know, like capabilities, as well as all the kind of business value add-ons that I talked about. And obviously also we include you know, patch upgrades and also the upgrade to Avaya Aura 8 when a customer is ready to do that as part of the term of the contract. So that's all kind of rolled into the OPEX costs that we provide, and the customer can be confident and assured that they're going to be on a kind of supported and good release of software that the manufacturer has out in the market.
Great, thank you. We've got one final question which has come through. Have you got any customers using Sabio Contact Center as a service platform? Yes,
absolutely. So good question. So we've been doing hosted solutions now for a good number of years. Thinking back, I think it was about 5 or so years ago when we kind of first started to pick up this trend. I think it started more in traditional IT, the traditional IT sector, where businesses were starting to move more technology to a kind of cloud-based service, and the contact center industry was a little bit kind of sluggish and slower to follow. So, you know, we kind of started on this journey, like I say, 5 or 6 years ago. Over that period of time, we've acquired quite a number of customers. It's allowed us to establish our hosting environment. And what the purpose of this kind of webinar was really about was saying, look, you know, we've been offering that as an option to customers, but now what we're doing is offering a kind of strategy to help customers make that move in the way that they want to do it. So a part of that, for example, is providing the same platform, the same level of service, and all of the kind of things we've talked about today within their environment. So this is basically taking the Sabio contact centers about platform out of the cloud effectively and dropping it into a customer premise location, and it's exactly the same solution. And we think that's a really great and arguably unique approach to allow us to work with customers depending on what their specific requirements are.
Okay, great, thank you. There's no other questions. So thanks, Paul, and thanks everyone for your time today. We hope you enjoyed the webinar. If you have any further questions, please feel free to contact Paul via the contact details that are currently on your screen, and I'll just leave that up for a minute or so. Thanks.
Thank you.